Angry Bears Fan Podcast episode 64. Like, follow, subscribe, please. Please, all that good stuff. We're pretty consistent. Riding this Caleb wave. Uh I guess we'll start there, as always. Caleb, pink phone, pink lip gloss, pink nails. I think he said it was clear. Out at the USC game, the tournament game, made its rounds. Again, I don't know. It's hard to comment on it because I don't know. We come from a different era where like you can make gay jokes and it not be like this statement where you're like trying to disrespect somebody, but it was just a little funny. The one thing I will say about it before we get into it, what happened? Like, don't people realize when you're the number one prospect or your quarterback one, like if you do that, so like if Tom Brady did that, nobody's gonna be like, oh, we're gonna give him a pass. He's a go. He's the goat. Tom Brady showed up to any game with a pink phone case and pink
Well,
nails
here's the thing: the phone case wasn't pink.
or whatever it
The
was.
the phone itself is rose gold. You know what I'm saying? It's a
The
rose
pink
gold
one for
iPhone.
girls, yes.
Yeah. Well, I had a rose gold, Note 24 or 23 or Note 20 or whatever the hell it was, with a clear, it had a clear case. He was saying his nails were clear. But here's my thing on this, okay? Who fucking cares? We come from the city of Chicago, where we have Dennis Rodman, who was a legend in this city, get married to Carmen Electra in a wedding dress. He would sign autographs in a wedding dress. He's one of the most eccentric athletes in the history of athletes, and he did a whole bunch of weird shit. Nobody gave a fuck. Do you know
I,
why? Because he
that's
won.
first. This is what I also say because I've been hearing that argument. That's not true. People did give a fuck. It was like front page news. So we like
We
we
didn't care.
accepted it. Well, we were kids, but what I'm saying is like the collectively the media whatever like they cared. Like it was the literally front page news. So to say is that it's
Because it
going back
was,
to my
I mean,
point.
it was
What I'm
news,
saying is
but
like nobody cares. What I'll say myself because I've been making fun of it and I will continue to make fun of it, but I don't actually care like if that's who he is or whatever. But it's funny to see an NFL quarterback. You know what I mean? Like that's a joke if anybody did that. And it's like you're gonna get people are gonna pick at whatever they think you like. Tebow got made fun of for loving Jesus too much. Like whatever, like they think they're gonna find something they're gonna make fun of you. Like so that part, if people are actually being bigoted, and obviously he's not gay, he's got a girlfriend. But what I'm saying is like if people are actually being bigoted, that's one thing. But to make fun of like it being a me, like that's what's just gonna happen if anybody did that. If The Rock did that, if The Rock had his nails painted, and it's like people would make fun of him. So I don't think Caleb or
I don't
I don't think
know.
why
That
he's
statement's.
contingent.
I don't think
You
people
don't
are really gonna make fun of The Rock
you
if
don't
The
think it'd be a
Rock comes
meme?
out.
And I don't think people are like I think it would have been memes if anybody did it. If John Morant did it. Why don't we say The
Well,
Rock?
the
Well,
the
John
the the
Morant,
thing
Luca,
the
like
thing. I get why people make a big deal out of it. You know what I'm saying? I'm on Twitter a lot, X. You know what I'm saying? I see all this. Oh, that's our QB1, blah 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 blah. And I'm gonna tell you, if you're one of those Bears fans that is gonna, sit there and say, oh, because this kid paints his nails and has a pink phone, that he's gonna fail as a quarterback, and you just don't like him because of that, then I don't know what to tell you. I mean, realistically, I just don't. Dennis Rodman's just one, example. I mean, Ricky Williams, for God's sakes, was on the cover of Sports Illustrated magazine with Mike Ditka in a wedding
yes, but
dress.
I mean these people you're
Like,
describing like self-destructed. Like
I
even
just,
though Dennis Rodman got it done, his career spiraled out into flames. Like
well, here's the thing. Realistically, this is Caleb Williams is the probably the very first Gen X quarterback to really come into the NFL. I mean, it's the new norm. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't know if it's a new norm. What again? What
it's
I'm saying
the
is it's more acceptable, and truly I don't care. I just think it's funny, and I'm gonna make joke like because what I'm saying is if Justin Fields or you know what I mean, Trevor Lawrence, Kyler Murray, like Kyler Murray gets made up for playing Call of Duty, like that's what they do. People make fun of you for the things that you do. So I don't think that Caleb is absolved of that. Guys get
I
made fun
just
of
yeah.
for the things you go when you are out in public. You're gonna get made fun of for the things you are because people are jerks.
I'll tell you what though, he did clap back at all those people that on social media.
Yeah,
I thought that was pretty funny. I'll tell you what, the kid, he's got a certain swagger to him. His confidence is it's confidence, it's borderline arrogance, but it's not quite arrogance. You know what I'm saying? It's not there yet. But I do like his confidence. I do like the way he carries himself. Just he seems
Yeah,
like
he
he's
has
an
been.
extremely hard worker.
Yeah, I
He
mean, he
seems like
seems.
he loves the game of football, and as long as that's the case when he comes here after he gets drafted, then I'm perfectly okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, I want to win. I want the Bears to be good. So you know what I mean. He can be eccentric, and like I said, even if we're winning, I'll still make fun if he's showing up in weird clothes. I'll still make fun. That isn't. That's just what happens. You could be fucking amazing, and people still make fun of you. And like you can just because you're our quarterback doesn't mean we can't. You can't be the butt of any jokes.
Oh yeah,
And
you're well anybody. That's
yeah,
that's
exactly. And
anybody.
when you're like in the limelight, you're more than anybody. Like I said, and if he becomes mediocre, nobody will really care. So like people making a big deal about it honestly shows that you're a big deal. So like that
Yeah,
comes
absolutely.
that's what comes with it. And that was always my gripe about people like this is basketball obviously, but LeBron fans where they're like, no, if you talk shit about LeBron, it's like everybody hates LeBron. It's like, yeah, everybody hated who the people who weren't Bulls fans hated Michael Jordan too. And if you weren't a Celtics fan, you hated Larry Bird. If you weren't a Lakers fan, you fucking hated Magic Johnson. Like when you're the best and you're ruining other fans or teams and fans' night on a monthly, nightly basis, they don't like you. Like, and I think that part people have to get used to. Like, people attack Aaron Rodgers. Like, if you're a really famous, people are gonna fuck with you and make fun of you. And but like you said, I think he has been carrying himself pretty well throughout all this. He didn't let it get to him. I like that part about it. Um, I don't. To me though, the only thing I would say is like he obviously know he like the cameras are rolling, so it's like
Oh yeah.
so
Oh
I don't
yeah.
know. He wants a little bit of attention. I don't know if he's trying to get fucking a deal with fucking L'Oreal. I don't want no shampoo, but some I don't know. Maybe he's trying to get a fucking sponsorship deal with somebody. I don't know, but that part is like I like my quarterback to be tucked away and not to be heard from and be working. So but we'll see. Like you said, first Gen Z guy. He was at a girls basketball game for the school he was from, but it was big news. It was like for like 3 days. It was bigger news than the bridge collapsing. I felt like it was going making its round more than the fucking bridge collapsing. But it's Caleb's time, so we got to get used to it. And I just hope all that isn't a distraction. I'm like, if it's fine and that's what you're gonna do and dress however you want to fucking dress. And Cam Newton is a good example. He was very eccentric, not like in that way. I mean, there's some pretty feminine outfits I thought Cam Newton wore, and as long as you're going about your business, nobody's gonna care. But like I
Exactly.
said, there will be memes though. That part, people are still gonna joke. They're not gonna, like I said, nobody actually cares about your lifestyle and what you're doing, but
Yeah.
when an NFL quarterback comes up to the podium and he's, you know what I mean, got on nail polish and lip gloss, that memes are going to be made the next day. Um, but besides that, pretty quiet in the NFL. Not a lot. I think what Reddick got traded for a third. I wanted to bring that up too. Why aren't we making this deal? It was like it blows my mind. Like oh, it's like a third and a what is it a sixth or something? And if he gets 11, it's like a 2026. I gotta pull it up, but it's like nothing. And I think that would have been a great pick for us. And then it takes a lot of pressure off of us in the draft too, because then we could just go best available. We start filling some of these holes. Like, as Tyler Boyd hasn't signed yet, right? Like Tyler
Yeah,
Boyd
no,
hasn't
Tyler.
signed.
Yeah, Tyler Boyd's still available.
Mike
Um,
Dana at the D end. It's like some of these guys are still out there. I mean, Reddick got traded for, like I said, peanuts. We got the money. I think he fits in. And yeah, just I don't see why some of these moves we're not making. Like,
I, I, I don't know why we weren't involved in that in the Reddick thing. I'm kind of a little disappointed.
yes,
Because they allowed Reddick to seek a trade, and didn't they allow Josh Sweat to seek a trade as well?
yeah.
So it's like,
It's been
I
like a month too. It's been a while.
yeah, I don't know, Sean. It's really confusing because
Yes.
realistically, we've been saying that DN2, a bookend DN on opposite side of Montez Sweat is a huge need. We still need a wide receiver three, and like you said, Ryan Poles historically has went best player available in terms of what he does in the draft, and with all the talk of quarterbacks being the first four picks, with Minnesota possibly moving up and this, that, and the other. One of those three wide receivers is going to be there at 9. Joe Alt might be gone. He might go to Tennessee, is what I'm hearing. A lot
Yeah,
of mock
so I am
drafts
too.
have him going to Tennessee.
But then I
Uh,
guess Saransky's a guard, but I mean he's like a
yeah, and it's just like, damn, man, like
yeah.
what I don't know.
Yeah, we have no
Like I said,
second.
I wouldn't mind going wide receiver at 9 if one of those three are available. Realistically, a lot of people, I guess, now are saying that Malik Neighbors is, wide receiver 1 on a lot of teams' boards
Yeah.
after Marvin
Harrison.
Harrison Jr. decided not to show up to his pro day or do anything else like
He didn't
that.
do anything at all. He just
No,
showed up to the combine, right?
there's a good chance that, I'm not even gonna say good chance. There's a slim chance that he slips to 9.
I don't think so,
Um,
but yeah, maybe.
it's a
Yeah.
possibility. But it's just I don't know. We got 26 days to find out our answers on what's going to happen. I mean, realistically, I told you I was on the Joe Alt, train. You convinced me a little bit to, might as well upgrade and get a franchise left tackle to really just
You
stick
convinced
with
me
a
there
rookie
too, where
QB.
like I've been wanting to trade back, but now I kind of just want a blue chip guy. I want one of those top 10 guys, unless it's the Vikings giving us 11 and 23 somehow. I mean, obviously that's a lot to move up. Maybe we give them something else back in return. I don't know. Um, but I want one of those blue chip guys. Like I said, I really like Joe Alt. You're right. It has been leaking out that the Titans, he's not getting past the Titans. Um, I hope he does. Maybe they like the other guy. I don't. Again, maybe he's good too. But I want, as it stands right now, I want a D end or a tackle. If he would have got Reddick, then again, that puts us back in a just draft whoever you got rated the highest. But I don't think we're in the years past he was in the position of draft for the highest. Like this is a we're in it. We're trying to go to the playoffs. So you can't just get somebody. I don't like the wide receiver pick because it's like the best case scenario Keenan Allen gets hurt and he gets sees the field a lot. Like but if DJ Moore and Keenan Allen are healthy, the wide receiver we draft at 9 will be, let's say, DJ Moore's the first option, Keenan Allen's the second option,
Yeah,
the Bet's third
but
option, the running back's fourth option. He's the fifth option on offense. Like,
yes, however, and I get what you're saying, but Keenan Allen is also 32 years old and there's no extension. This might be a one and done for Keenan Allen. And this is the best group of wide receivers, in terms of top 10 talent that we've had in a long time. You have an opportunity to draft a future number 1 wide receiver that's going to have the benefit of playing next to DJ Moore, you know what I'm saying, and being a number 2 for a couple of years and then taking over that number 1 role. So I could see a wide receiver being taken. I wouldn't have an issue with it, especially if it was Neighbors or Marvin
yeah, if
Harrison
it's
Jr.
Davids or Marvin Harrison, I will live with that. I'm not so big on Roma Dunze. He reminds me of Quentin Johnson. I think he's got all the tools. Nothing. I mean, he balled. You know, what I mean, I'm not taking anything away from him. I don't see him coming in and making a huge impact. As like I said, in reality, if you think like he's the third wide receiver, but he's really going to be like the fifth option, and
Yeah, absolutely.
We still got Velus Jones on the team. I'm assuming they're going to try and get him balls. We got a backup running back. They're going to be getting touches.
Well, what the new kickoff rules now, Valus might actually be of some use.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
maybe.
saying? That they adopted the XFL kickoff rules, which I've always liked. I thought the XFL, and here's the thing with the XFL, like the Sky Cam that the NFL has, that was invented by the XFL back when Vince McMahon launched it the first time, and a lot of stuff has come from the XFL. It's kind of like it's legitimately. It just seems like a lot of the technology and everything else like that is like the minor leagues for the NFL, and the NFL just adopts some of it. You know what I'm saying? So I like the kickoff rule. There's a couple other things that they
The hip
passed.
drop
The
tackle.
hip drop tackle, that's just so fucking stupid. Like, what are these defenders supposed to do? I
Yes,
mean,
I think
it's
that causes injuries more than anything. These guys out there thinking too much. Like I'm all for these
100%.
and I'm all for player safety up to an extent, I guess. But it's like I thought that's what we were paying him this much money for. That because you're risking your body and you can get hurt at any time and never play again. That's kind of why you're getting the money. So it's like I understand. I don't want anybody's life to be ruined, and yes, it's tough, but that's fucking life. Like more people blow their knee out just going to work at their regular job every day anyway than a fucking that. It's just like I don't know. Like it's just diluting the game. It's all these rules against the defense, and then I think weird stuff happens where people get hurt when these guys are out there thinking and trying to they're gonna start going for people's knees. I think like weird stuff's gonna be happening where you just create different dangerous tackles instead of like the hip drop. Yeah, it's bad. But
Well, football too, it's, you know, on defense especially, it's a reactionary game.
yes,
Like it's basically just your first reaction. You're reacting to the offense, and what are you supposed to do? Like I just it's so frustrating because I play defense. It is so frustrating to have all these rules get set into place to help the offense, and there's literally nothing that the defense can do. It's just all offensive rules. They want high scoring games. High scoring games produce higher numbers. Higher numbers produce more money. What I get it, it's a business, but at the same time, you're like you said, you're diluting the game, and you're making it not football anymore.
yes.
It's gonna turn into something that's like patty cake. It's gonna.
And
I'll
I
still
honestly,
watch. A
to
lot of people
appease,
still watch, but it's just. I mean,
I
they're
really
not
don't know
banning
who
that
they're
in college.
appeasing
They're not
though.
banning that in high school. Like,
Like, not, I mean, I'm sure there are some players who were lobbying against it, but I just don't feel like an overwhelming whole. The fans were asking for that, the players were asking for that. It's like a couple guys probably got horror stories where their fucking ankle got destroyed forever. And yes, I can empathize, and it sucks. But like, football is a violent game. You could have been an accountant. You guys all went to college. So at some point, like, you can we remember that football's violent. You guys aren't like slaves who we forced to play. You all go to college for 3 years, and you could have decided using that brain of college educated man, decided, you know what, I don't want to blow my knee out, and you know what I mean, I can be an accountant, I just got to go to school for free, be an architect, I could be whatever the hell I want to be. But and you kept following the path of football, and then you want the game to change to you know what I mean, make it stretch out longer so you can make more money doing that. And it's like, I don't know. Like, yes, I don't want anybody's life to be ruined. I don't want anybody to commit suicide because they have CTE. But um, at some point, like I said, football is a violent game, and it's violent. Like, you guys will make some better helmets. Like, make sure nobody's not any late hits or stuff like that. But the hip drop tackle, that's like, I don't even like. That's just like a tackle. That's how you tackle somebody when you kind of catch them from behind and things like that. That's like, I don't know, and it's just weird new ways how people are going to get hurt too. Anyway, like,
yeah, something will pop up. It always
yes,
does
it'll
every
be
year.
something else, like, because
Every
football's
year.
violent, and the and NFL players are the, like, out of any sport, the biggest physical freaks there are out there. Like, half the guys in the NFL probably could compete in multiple Olympic events and
Oh yeah,
place.
probably.
Like, you know what I mean? Then there's guys in the Olympics who can only do one. Like, you know what I mean? There's guys, you know what I mean, who could you do two, and on top of being like extremely strong. And it's like, so no matter what, people are going to get hurt. And the bigger, the faster, stronger they get. It's just, I think the NFL needs to focus more on the insurance they give the players and the pension and things like that to make sure if your career does get ruined because of something happened on the field, at least we're footing the medical bill. And some of the
Yep.
play, you know, and in the play, and then the NFL's offense, they did a lot of that, and those players got caught taking advantage of it.
Yeah.
And it's like
100%.
this little shit like that ruin it for everybody. But I do think you just, if you play in the NFL for 2 years, you get automatic, you know what I mean, free healthcare for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? I'm assuming many of these NFL owners have large stakes in hospitals and own them. They're all rich, and you know what I mean. It's would cost them no money to be sending players to make sure their brains are all right and they're living fine. Um, but that's the direction I would go in instead of trying to make football safer. Like, football isn't safe. That's you know what I mean. We can do our best, but in the essence of the game is violence. And I think basketball is learning that. The basketball's numbers have been going down yearly. They fluctuate, but they're not as popular as it was because I think they made it too wide open, too offensive. And yeah, we love the dunks and everything, but people like the grittiness of sports. People like the violence, the clawing, the scratching. And I don't think you can take that too much out of any of the sports, or people just aren't going to enjoy it.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. And it's just I don't know. I'm still gonna watch. We're all still gonna watch. We're all
Yeah, of
football
course.
fans.
Yes.
You
I
know what
love
I'm saying?
football.
It's just it gets boring. I'm not gonna say it gets boring. It just gets repetitive after a while because you know every year there's gonna be something that's going to just come down that's controversial in terms of a rule change or something like that, and then we bitch about it. We bitch about it. We bitch about it, and it doesn't change because we're still gonna watch. So the NFL knows that they can do whatever the fuck they want, pretty
Yeah.
much, and we're all still gonna
And
watch.
yeah,
And it
that's really,
sucks
yeah.
it sucks, but in the end, it's it's kind of on us But
This one was just weird. Like some of the rules we kind of understood, like the wedge blocker and things like that. That's been a complaint for a long time.
yeah,
Like
the blind side block
yeah, it's
and
like this one. It's like I like yes, I'm. There's a few running backs who've got some horror stories where they're, you know what I mean. Sadly, their careers ended, but that's just how the cookie crumbles. Like I don't think this was a mass problem that players, coaches, or fans were complaining about. It felt like something the NFL. I don't know the owners. Are they? I guess it's the owners who vote on it, so I guess they had a problem with it. But it's like I don't. They can't
because
be
they
that
want to try to
disconnected.
protect their assets.
Football's where like I don't. Football is to me kind of like fighting, where like you can throw a bunch of bums out there as long as they got the Bears jerseys on. We're gonna watch the game, like to an extent, as long as they're not completely outmatched. Like a lot, most of the time, we'll see. We're about to transition from Justin to Caleb, and there's a contingent who right now in the last month or so been giving off vibes that they're never gonna forgive the Bears for getting rid of Justin. Like so, and in 2 months they're all gonna be Caleb fans. So
Oh yeah,
like that's just what it is. So it's like I
one
don't
hundred
the
percent.
protecting their assets like it don't really matter. Yeah, you want to protect the Tom Brady's and like the fucking Caleb's or whoever, but the most part anybody's out there just names on a jersey as long running around. But yeah, I didn't like the hip dry tackle thing. The kickoff, I'll see. I'll remain to see. I'm fine with anything that like the last few years has just been non-existent. So anything to get it kind of back in because we growing up, special teams was such a big deal about football. It always was, and especially being Bears fans, doubly important. The Bears have always, as except for like the last like 5 or 6 years, always been like elite. Not only did
Yeah.
we have Devin Hester, but we had other guys, Johnny Knox, Danny Manning, who were amazing kick returners and punt returners, and our team special teams were always the best. So anything that gets the special teams back in it, I do like to see.
Glenn Milburn
Yeah.
back in the
What I
90s.
don't get about the XFL one though, it's like, what's stopping you? Why wouldn't you just put a bunch of linemen out there? Like,
The
they're in like a
speed.
5 yard, but they're in like a window, like a 10 yard window. Like most tackles could stay like because isn't it the defense on one side and then they're like 10 yards off, and then in front and the other guy they're lined up like 10 across 10.
I think it's 5 yards. I think they're 5 yards apart.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Even if it's 5 yards, then it's like, what do you stop? Like, I would put all linemen out there. My whole backup offensive line. I
I
guess they're
mean, we
probably
might,
already out there.
we
Well,
we
well,
might,
again, we'll see some cool things too, and
yeah,
maybe
we might see some creativity.
yeah,
You know,
and maybe
that's
that will
what
get
special
Velus
teams coaches
Jones.
get paid for.
Yeah.
We'll see
Um.
something like the tush push on special teams
Yeah.
that will
We'll
be
see if that still works
controversial.
without Kels.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it will.
Uh, but the Bears are kind of busy. I wrote down a list of the rookies that visited. Dallas Turner, Bowers, Adunze. I think he visited or it's soon.
He's going to be
Uh,
visiting soon.
soon. Cam Hart from Notre Dame, Zach Frazier from West Virginia, the center, but then a couple other DBs from some small schools. I really like Zach Frazier. I'm hoping he's there in the third round, even though we got some centers. I think I we do not forget to draft some more offensive linemen. And
Yeah, there's no such thing as enough depth on the
yeah,
offensive line.
yes, we see that every
There's
year.
really not,
And
especially with the mountain of injuries that we seem to get on the offensive line every year. Tevin Jenkins, Braxton Jones missing 6 games last year. Lucas Patrick and the Cody White here that we just cut. You know what I'm saying? This past
yeah,
offseason, everybody's off and on injured, stuff like that. Darnell Wright played with half an arm last year. Like
like great
it,
though.
there's no such thing as enough depth on offensive line. So I do agree with you there. I think if Zach Frazier is there at some point, we should take him.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll last in the third round, so I'm thinking we're gonna have to
Probably
trade
not.
back.
There's there
Um,
there's that center from Georgia, Cedric Van Pelt or whatever the
Park,
hell his
yeah,
name is.
Van something, yeah, Van
Yeah, he's
Cedric or something,
okay.
yeah.
He's okay. He's a good depth piece. I don't know. He might be a project in terms of being a starter in the NFL as a center, but I think he'd be a decent depth piece on the offensive line. We talked about Ryan Bates is going to be the starting center anyway, so realistically, you might have a guy that you could stash on the bench for a year or two just to get some reps and learn,
And
get
then, like I said,
stronger.
with Tevin's injury history, he might get in. So,
Yeah. I mean, really,
um,
it just, yeah.
one other thing, polls. He made some rounds, did some interviews. He talked about Justin finally. Uh, kind of cut him a little slack. When I watched him talk about it, he did. You could see that there was some emotion involved. He even said that like it was a tough decision. His son, he said his own son, was asking him all the time. He said his son
Has
had
his
a just
jersey.
jersey hanging up in his room. His son was Justin
Yep.
for Halloween. That being said, that is a tough decision to make. But he did explain it right. Basically, what you were saying is just like he said it extended their runway of being, you know what I mean, having a stack team, being an elite team, and being having some cap flexibility. And anybody who was anybody, you know what I mean, was trying to think logically, understood that. As much as I harped for Justin and rallied, and but you know what I mean, my ideal situation was to keep Justin, and you just figured out. I always knew that like you said, he was gonna the the resetting the quarterback clock thing is just a too catchy of a thing. People always want to do it. And in reality, if you don't have an honest direction of your team, it's probably the smartest thing to do. Um,
Yeah, and well, if you don't have a clear-cut
yeah,
superstar quarterback
yes,
too, you know what I'm saying? Like you don't want to end up like the Giants where you make a playoff run one year, you pay your quarterback $40 million a year, and now you're handcuffed to that quarterback for a couple of years or whatever the case may
yeah.
be. And it sucks, right? And we all wish Justin the best. He's in Pittsburgh. I There's a rumor going around. We talked about how like everybody in Pittsburgh was like, oh no, Russell Wilson's QB1, Russell Wilson's QB1. Now it's more, well, Justin has an opportunity to compete for the starting position, because
Honestly, like
they're only paying Russ
they have
$1.5 million.
no commitment to him, and he just got there 2 weeks before
Yeah,
Justin. So
absolutely no
I don't
commitment.
think I think Justin's gonna have
$1.5 million.
every opportunity to win the job. He's gonna get to play in preseason more than Russ. So if he's
Yep.
electric, and like you said, we wish him the best. I'm gonna try too much not to talk about, you know what I mean. Like I said, we're rooting for him. He's on the Steelers now though, and it's like I said, it's Caleb's time. I want to see him do well. I want the Bears to be good, and like I said, I just will reserve the right to say I told you so. But at the end of the day, I still want, no matter who our when it was Mitch Trubisky. I remember every year I get the notifications on Facebook of me being like, "What the fuck? The Bears are so stupid. I can't believe they fucking draft Mitch Trubisky." And then you know what I mean. There's years of me defending Mitch. So like I said, he'll become our guy, and he'll be our new Dennis Rodman or whatever the fuck you want to call him. But I want like, but that being said, I'm not waiting 3 years like I gave Justin. And sorry if you could be mad or not, but in my head, you got rid of Justin because you said this guy was better. You know what I mean? You're like he's just as good as Justin, and we got him for cheap. So I'm expecting from him what I was expecting from Justin this year.
There's gonna be rough
Oh yeah,
patches.
of course. And there was going to be
Absolutely.
rough patches with Justin.
Yeah, there's
He
gonna be
wasn't
rough patches,
perfect by far, but
I like you said, um, realistically, this is a playoff roster and football is a team game.
yeah,
So if they don't make the playoffs, if they don't get at least 9 wins, it's kind of a failure season.
yes. I
And
mean, and if we don't, it'll probably be because Caleb didn't play well. Like
yeah,
I don't envision that like the team is just so awful we couldn't block, we couldn't play defense, and Caleb was out there, you know what I mean, had 4,500 yards and 30 touchdowns, and we just sucked. Like I'm assuming, and it was kind of a little bit of our downfall with Justin as well. I think the Bears' problem with Justin was like they like a lot of the times that like one side would just have a really bad game or like just very unopportune times, but. I think, like you said, this is a playoff roster now. It's gonna be a very complete team. We get another book rush at the end, we got a top 10 defense.
absolutely.
And even without him, we might if we got a decent rotation of guys. Um,
That's our biggest weakness right now on defense is in totality the defensive line. I
yes,
understand we have Montez Sweat, but we don't have a
Dexter's
lot of depth
one
on the
year in,
defensive line. Yeah, we got
Pickens 1 year
Trevon
in.
Dexter, Pickens, and Billings is a good run stuffer,
Yeah,
but we don't have a lot of depth on that D line. Besides Montez Sweat, we got 3 or 4 defensive linemen. Like you said, we got 2 second-year guys. We got Andrew Billings, and we got Walker, Demarcus Walker on the other defensive end side, but
he's just
he's really a run stopper.
yeah.
He's not really a speed guy, a pass rusher, or anything else like that. So you're gonna see Montez Sweat get double teamed a lot, and it's unfortunate. But we have a really good linebacking core, and we have a really good secondary. We
That's why
should
this
realistically.
Reddick, why we were not on the Reddick deal, does not make any sense. Like that, honestly, have been a perfect move for us. The draft, like, is basically go get some more offense, get a tackle, get a wide receiver. Reddick's a plug in and play, proven guy. He'll get you 10 sacks at least. He
I
stays
have a
healthy.
feeling we're gonna see a draft day trade, and it's not gonna be moving down. I still think we pick 1 and 9, but I don't know why. I just have this feeling that something's going to happen on draft night where we draft or we trade for a player for future draft capital because we have over the next 2 years we have what is it like 10 picks in the top 100
Yeah.
over the next 2 years, you know what I'm saying? And it just adds even more if Ian Cunningham gets a job, if any of our, free agents or whatever sign elsewhere, we get compensatory picks. I think we got the fourth rounder next year for Darnell Mooney signing with Atlanta. So I there has to be like we talked about
Yes,
this
he's
last
got to
week.
have
There has to be something
another move
coming.
to be made. When I saw the
He's got to
Reddick
have
deal, I
something
was like,
complete.
"What the hell? Like, why are we not in on this deal?" And yeah, I just don't
Well,
get it from
Reddick's
him.
also got to get paid too. And I know we talked about this last week. Um, but you got to save yourself a little bit of cap room for your own extensions in house. You can't just blow your wad, all the salary cap money and not have anything to, during the season to re-sign some of your players to extensions. I know, Tevin Jenkins gets hurt a lot or whatever, but say, he has a healthy season and he's damn near an all pro. You're going to want to extend him.
Yeah,
There's a
but
couple of guys coming up
I
for
see what you're saying.
extensions.
But for Reddick, it's like he's not. If you get traded to our team, he's in no position to hold out
No,
because
but but I'm assuming I haven't now. I don't know how many years he had left on his deal. I know he was looking for a new deal.
yeah,
So I'm assuming there's an extension coming. So really it's just gonna come down to what are those numbers.
yeah.
I'm not gonna, bash Ryan Poles for not pulling the trigger. I'm a little confused by it, but until I see the extension numbers, then I'll be like, okay, well, if it's affordable, if it's less, I mean, if it's less than Montez Sweat, if it's less than 22, let's just say 22 mil. If it's less than 22 mil a season, yeah, I'll be like, what the fuck? Why didn't we go in on that? But if it's not, if it's 25 or more, and then I'll be like, okay, I can kind of see where Ryan was like,
We got to do something, and if we don't get a DN in free agency or a trade, I think honestly in my head I think that's where we have to go. I don't think Alt will be there. I think it's Alt and then one of those guys, Dallas Turner or Verse. We just need another DN. I guess we could use another wide receiver. It would be nice to add that to our offense and add that for the future, but this is a deep draft class. We can get a decent one in the third round. There might be somebody there. You know what I mean? There's a couple guys with some high upside. We still, like I said, Tyler Scott. I haven't thrown him away. I mean, he might be. He's still. There's still a chance he could be good. Maybe I said Justin. Yeah, they didn't have chemistry. We weren't really a passing team. These guys weren't in rhythm. We were throwing a lot of screens, weird stuff. So it's like Tyler Scott still could be good for all we know. And um, at that point, and that's. But if Harrison's there or Neighbors, I don't think I would be upset if we got one of those guys. Um,
absolutely.
because if one of them are there, all definitely got picked.
Yeah, I know. That's
So
well, because
and
Tennessee needs another wide receiver too. So
yeah, Tennessee needs
realistically,
the Giants need a wide receiver. So I don't envision one of those guys will be there. Um, maybe Poles trades up and gets one of them with some next year's capital. I don't know if somebody would even do that. But it'll be interesting because JJ McCarthy's basically locked into a top 5 pick now. His stock's like he's definitely not getting out of the top 10. Um,
no, no
so now
shot
there's
that
4
happens.
quarterbacks in the top 10, possibly the top 5. And then Penix had a great pro day. He ran a 4.46. He's not a running quarterback either. So the knee
No, but
concerns.
teams love speed.
Well, no, I'm just saying. So like, you don't have to necessarily. It's kind of like Joe Burrow, where like he's a decent runner of the football, but nobody's worried about him blowing his knee out because he can get it done in the pocket. So it's not that big
Yeah,
of a deal if you know what I mean. His knee gets blown out and he can never run like that again. So you know what I mean. There might be some surprises and people trying to move up top 10 to get Penix. So this is going to be a crazy draft.
it really is going to be.
There's going to be some
It's
really
one of the
good
most
blue chip players
unpredictable
at 9.
drafts.
Yeah, I
It's
think
one of
there's
the most
going to.
unpredictable drafts that we've had in a long time.
Yeah. I guess yeah, we don't really like we know Caleb's going to be one, but nobody knows what Washington's going to do. I've seen they like May. I've seen stuff where they're locked in on JJ McCarthy. Like
Jaden
then you see Jaden
Daniels.
Daniels, so it's like that. A lot of dominoes are going to fall, and somebody
I've
trades
seen
up and does something
them.
crazy.
I've seen them talk about trading back. Like I don't know. It's gonna be
It's going to be a
it's
fun
gonna be
draft, and
hectic.
I'm excited for to see it all play out. I'm hoping Poles has a couple more moves up his sleeve. I don't think we're there yet. I think right now, as the roster sits, we're borderline playoff team. I think we need a bookend to like secure it. Obviously barring injury to lock us into one of those top 7 teams. I think there's a lot of room in the NFC to grow. I don't think the Eagles are that good. They just lost a lot of people. The Cowboys lost a decent amount of people, and they're gonna have to pay Dak.
We should do a video draft night. Even if we don't go live, we should do a video
recap
where
for sure.
yeah,
Yeah,
where
no matter
we're
what. Yeah,
watching the draft. You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? And we can do live reactions to, people getting drafted, and we can post it up and
Oh
give
yeah.
our
Well,
opinions
yeah.
on
We'll
it.
get to the first. Yeah, maybe we'll do the first round. Was at 7 o'clock or some shit on Thursday.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that sounds a good idea. And what's the day? Maybe in one of these, maybe next week or the week after that, we'll do a mock. I don't want to do like 5. Kind of want to
Yeah,
sit
I
down and
know.
do one
Well,
single
it's
one. And I'm trying
because
to, I'm trying to just see. Like, I was waiting to see what else Poles is doing. Is he going to get at the end? Is he going to get Tyler Boyd? There's some people out there still where it's like I think that would
well, we
give us
also
some
got to remember
clarity.
too, there's a, post June 1st cuts.
Yeah,
There's going to
yeah.
be cuts after, June 1st. We don't know who's going to be on the chopping block there. Maybe we could pick up somebody cheap. I don't know who would be a cap casualty. There's still a lot of stuff in the offseason that still needs to play out. We are in the Hall of Fame game this year coming up
Yes,
August.
we're going to be Hard Knocks. I'm guessing if I had to bet.
Well, there's a couple of teams I guess that have expressed interest in doing Hard
Oh,
Knocks, so
that
they
want to do it? Oh, that'd be
yeah.
interesting. I
So
don't want to do it because, like I said, I'm not to where I know we're getting towards the end. I don't really give a fuck what Caleb's lifestyle does, what he does. What I do care about is I really don't want to wake up every day and it be the number one story. Like what the fuck Caleb's doing. Like that, and I guess that's not all his fault, but you know what I mean. Sometimes you gotta be a little low key and stay out of the, you know what I mean. Like, and if you don't want to do that, then that would be a little bit of cause and concern. If like, but besides that, like I said, he's a kid. Do whatever the hell you want. You know, have a rose gold phone and wear lip gloss, whatever. I don't, you know what I mean. That part, I really don't care. I'll make fun of you, but I don't like care. But I don't want to be waking up every day and it be like, this is what Caleb was wearing here. This is what Caleb. And again, I know that's not all his fault, but you know what I mean. You got to roll with the punches, and you know what I mean. Don't feed into it.
yeah, I mean, like you said, there's not a lot of news. We're kind of disappointed in the Hassan Reddick trade to the Jets instead of the Bears. Really no movement on
Yeah, it's
anything.
been
It's
pretty
it's getting
slow. Like I
closer
said,
and
that
closer to draft.
Foles made his rounds. They went to I forgot where they were at. The owners meetings or whatever.
Yeah,
And he, like I said, he spoke on Mac. He went on McAfee. He talked about RG3. What RG3 said. He said they kind of heat him. And this one thing, we'll close it out. We'll get to the end. This won't be like the last point I make. He was like, we were brought to break the cycle, and maybe we do, but as of right now, he's still in the cycle.
he's
Like,
repeating the
yeah,
fucking cycle.
and again, and we're hoping Caleb wins, and That's how we break the cycle. But he literally did the cycle already. Like he already did.
He
Like
kept the head coach, got rid of the
yeah,
quarterback.
tear down, keep
Yes,
the coach. So it's like, all right, yeah, but like you can't like RG3 is a little bit of an airhead sometimes, but he was, and I don't think any. I'm not a fan of anybody saying, "Hey, I'm not going to go play there." I don't think that's a good precedent. But like to say that like, oh, I was brought here to break the cycle. It's like you should have just got rid of Justin at the beginning of the fucking thing, or fired Eberflus. Like, but don't do all the same things they did and then be like, well, I don't want them to think that I'm just like them. And I do think he's a little bit better than them, smarter than them. Maybe as right now, he hasn't made a huge bonehead play, and I'm hoping for the best. So, and he has been doing a decent job. The Caleb move, although it wasn't my ideal move, it's the smart play. Almost, you know what I mean. 9 out of 10 GMs probably do it, if not all 10. Um,
yeah.
and but he said it's Caleb time, and I'm excited. I want the football to start, and I want to see if Caleb is him, and you know what I mean. And to prove me wrong, I hope he does.
I'm hoping so. Like I said, I'm shooting for 9 wins this year, at least.
I
At
I
least.
think I'm like 10. I want 10. 9. 9. I don't think we make the playoff. I guess maybe we'll see. Well, I guess it depends how good everybody else is. But the Cowboys will be good. Cowboys, Eagles, Niners. I think the Cardinals will have a research. I don't know if they're going to win 9 games, but I think they're just going to be a lot better. Seahawks are like, I don't know. With 9 is going to be enough. Lions, think they're just getting better every year. Packers are probably going to take another step. Um, but yeah, we need Caleb to, I think, win 10 games and beat the Packers once for sure.
Let's do it.
All right. Like, follow, subscribe if you stuck it out to the end. These ones aren't too long, but yeah,
No, they won't
comment.
be. They're gonna be short like this for
Yeah, until
probably a
probably
while.
yeah until we get back in the season, maybe after the draft. But adios. I'll see you next week.
I'll see you next week.
All right, bye.